Welcome back. We about to react to 8 food delivery app horror stories, bro. Animated. So let's get into it.
I used to occasionally deliver for DoorDash on the weekends. This happened about a year ago, and at the time DoorDash was new to my area.
I didn't know they had DoorDash.
Not many people used it, but if you worked at the right times, you could still make well above minimum wage. It was a Friday night, and I got a request in the app to deliver to a house around 8 miles away. The house was on a deeply wooded back road, with absolutely no streetlights. Like, literally, if you turned your headlights off at this time of the night, you were completely blind.
Blacked out.
I delivered to a house in this area once before, but that was when it was light out, which, trust me, is a way different scene. I didn't have much for phone service, so it was difficult to find exactly where I needed to be. But after a while, I finally found the place. The house seemed pretty similar to a lot of the other houses in the area. Secluded looking, and right on the edge of being able to comfortably call it abandoned. I pulled up to the house, and because of the limited visibility, I decided to keep my car's headlights on while I dropped off the food at the door.
That's what you gotta do.
To do this, I had to keep the keys in the ignition, and so I did. I figured it wouldn't be the end of the world if I left my car running for an extra 30 seconds. I took the bag of food to the front door. I knocked a few times, and waited about 20 seconds, when my phone went off. I was getting a call from a blocked caller ID. I decided to answer it in case it had anything to do with the food I was delivering. It was some man who sounded completely normal.
Oh, that's the deal.
He explained how he was the one who placed the DoorDash order, and he then asked me if I could just bring it to him around back. I was already sketched out as is.
He cooks.
So
that boy got a shiesty on, bro.
If he wanted his food,
one of them 1980 shiesty, bro.
But to that,
a
the
bottle
line
of
just went
falafel,
dead.
bro.
I told myself I'd wait at the front door for one more minute, and if this guy didn't show up, I was just gonna leave. Maybe 30 seconds passed, and the guy did show up. The front door opened, and I looked at the dude.
How tall is he, bro?
Mask, and
he might be taller than me, man.
Me. I held out the food, too. But he made no reaction. That's when the guy yelled out,
"Alright, now."
Right as he said this, 3 men, also wearing ski masks, came sprinting out from around the back of the house towards me. My flight reaction kicked in immediately, and I ran straight to my car. I opened the door, put it in drive, and had the pedal to the floor in no less than 2 seconds. The men were able to hit my car a good amount of times before I was able to drive off. With what, I don't know, but something strong enough to break my back passenger side window and make a few other dents. Not even a minute into driving off, and I got 2 back-to-back calls from a blocked caller ID that I can only assume were both from the same guy. I let both calls ring until they stopped. I was shaking uncontrollably and still struggling to regain my composure. But after a few minutes, I calmed down enough to call the police and report the incident.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, that happened to me before. I've been so scared that I couldn't stop shaking, bro. I was delivering. Where was I? Oh no, I worked at Domino's, man. I was a delivery driver, bro. And they had me in this Subaru Impreza Sport. That was the delivery car, bro. And that car got a feature to where if the car thinks it's gonna crash, bro, it'll stop on its own. And I was driving, bro. I had to get on the highway for whatever reason. I think I missed I missed a turn or something, so I was on there longer than I wanted to be. And I was coming up to a light because it had ended. I was coming up to a light. I had hopped on the exit, and there was this dumbass, bro. Wasn't paying attention and tried to hop over like right in front of me, but like they didn't even know I was right there. I was right here. They was trying to hop over like right like that. The car, I don't know how, but it seemed that, and it did just cut the car off. The car was going like 45 and it just stopped. Like it just completely stopped. There was cars still moving right behind me. There was cars still going in the other lane. And in my head, bro, like this is like milliseconds, bro, because the car is like actively stopping, bro. I'm like, yo, what the fuck am I about to do, bro? I'm in the middle of traffic and the car turned off. I'm over here trying to swerve. I'm trying to save my life and shit. I ain't hit nobody. I ain't even scratched nobody else's car. How good of a driver I am, bro. You feel me? I passed everything the first try, bro. The exam and the permit. You feel me? That's out the way though. But yeah, bro, I can't lie, bro. I didn't have to go home. After that, I got back to that shop. I was Bro, I was over there shaking and shit. Niggas was laughing at me, bro. I should have quit, but it was good money.
And that was that. I don't know what ended up happening, and I genuinely don't want to know. I've tried to distance myself from the whole situation as much as possible. It's beyond terrifying for me to imagine what those guys had planned for me that night. A part of me thinks it was just to rob me, but another part of me thinks they wanted to kidnap me.
Look, I'm gonna tell you right now, bro. All three of them look suspect, bro. All three of them look suspect. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Worse.
And they all built the same, bro.
This happened back in 2019, on a Friday night in January. I had just gotten back from work, and was honestly way too tired to make my own food. I always heard good things about food delivery apps, and so I figured that night was the perfect night to finally download one and try it out. I just downloaded the first one that showed up. I then made an account, placed an order at a semi-nearby restaurant, and turned on Netflix to watch while I waited for it to arrive. Now, it's worth mentioning that on this night in particular, there was a lot of snow on the ground. The app said the delivery would take around 20 minutes, but I figured that didn't account for the terrible driving conditions. I honestly assumed it would probably take double that.
Hey, that's an
I can't
interesting
remember
deal,
exactly
bro.
how much time had passed, but it finally got to a point where I figured I'd just forget it and cancel the order.
Look like a werewolf,
But
bro.
right before I did, I got a
Mid-transformation.
message from the driver. Word for word, the message read, "Can't find your house. What's your personal phone number?" Now, you gotta remember, I had just downloaded the app that night, so I didn't know if it...
I don't care about none of that, bro. You see this icon right here? There's a phone right here, bro. On Uber Eats, you do not need the personal number, bro. And I'm mad because, bro, back when I used to be a delivery driver, bro, somebody tried this dumb shit on me before, bro. Like, what do you mean, bro? On the Domino's delivery app, bro, I'm gonna make this short. It give me a two-way line, bro. I could text you through the phone without you needing my number. And niggas like, just send me your number so we can make this easier. Nigga, no! Like, this phone icon that was right here, that would be on the app. If you don't press that damn button and call me, like, what's the
common
fuck?
not for drivers to ask for their customers'
Yo.
personal phone numbers.
I'm doing it. That shit just made me
I ended
mad,
up giving
bro.
it to him anyway. Around 10 minutes later, he would contact me, but not over a phone call like I expected. The guy texted me, saying he'd be at my place with the food in 10 minutes. This unsettled me a bit. I was under the impression he needed my phone number so he could call me and get better directions. But I just tried to brush it off. Around 10 minutes later,
is
I
kinda
would get
strange.
another text saying he left the food on my doorstep.
Nigga in a group
I
chat.
went outside to get it and sent a text back thanking him. I figured that was that. But around midnight, I would get another text.
Yeah, got
was the delivery
that time. Whoa.
The text simply read, "I really liked your sweatshirt."
Hey, no
This was
diddy,
now
bro.
getting extremely
I
weird,
ain't like the way that
as
came
the
out.
text suggested that the guy had stayed to watch me grab the food from my doorstep. I tried to play it cool, and responded with something like, "Haha, yeah, thanks. It's pretty nice." I can't remember everything that was said next, but it was some string of multiple texts that were something along the lines of, "So how's your night going? What are you up to?" and various other seemingly harmless messages. To these, I didn't respond. At the end of the day, I told myself I didn't know this guy, and I had no obligation to keep a conversation going. So, I just went to bed. But
Bro, that's
come
an interesting
I would wake
deal,
up
bro.
to 20-something texts, and multiple missed
Christ.
calls, all from the same number. It was again that same delivery driver. The last text was sent at 3 a.m., and as I scrolled through the texts, two in particular caught my eye. One of them read, "I'm outside your house," and the other said, "I can't see anything through your window. It's too dark." But that wasn't even the worst of it. I would...
What you mean you can't see through my window? It's too dark. Why are you here? You delivered my food 5 hours ago. Bro, it's 2 a.m. What the
later go
hell?
outside to find footprints in the snow that I knew for a fact were not there the other day. Meaning, this guy wasn't joking. He had actually showed up to my house, and by the looks of the footprints, had walked around it multiple times. I've since moved, and haven't received another text from the number. That was the first and only time I will ever use a food delivery app.
Looking at the footprints,
I'm
like they finna tell you what happened.
and currently out of work. I recently got laid off at my job, as the company I worked for was starting to go under. So, in an effort to keep up with the bills, I started delivering for Uber Eats part-time. A couple of my friends suggested it, and so I figured I'd give it a try until I found another job. To my surprise, it was actually good money. The only thing I didn't like was some of the places the app had me delivered to. I live in a city with a lot of sketchy areas. I try to stay away from those areas while delivering, but there's only so much you can do. This night, a Saturday, I got a McDonald's order. I usually don't accept those ones, but this night was strangely dead, which was weird. Saturday nights are usually the busiest for Uber Eats. Anyway, I pick up the order and start heading towards the address I'm given. Instantly, I realized it was not in the best area, but by this point, I decided to just suck it up.
That looked good. That looked like a great area, bro.
And right away, the vibe was off. It was completely dark with not a single light on in the house. Usually there's at least a light on upstairs, or something that would signal someone being awake and waiting for their order. But the house seemed dead. Nevertheless, I put the car in park, turned off the
Like, I'm not gonna lie, bro, as a kid, bro, sometimes when I'm at my crib, bro, or at somebody else's crib, bro, all the lights would be off, because it's like, bro, when I was little, bro, we would have a sleepover. That means all the lights is off, bro. The parents' room like lights is off, bro. Like, as I would pull up to this crib, I would automatically think that's what this is, bro. And that'd probably get me messed up thinking like that. But like, I don't know, bro. I wouldn't even think twice about the house lights being off. I would set it down, knock, and I'm out.
And as I reached for the front door, I saw it. The door was slightly cracked open. I knocked, and as I did, the door opened slightly more. I yelled out that I had an Uber Eats order, and right away, some man walked to the front door,
what the?
like as if he had just been waiting right there. As he got closer, I got a good look at him.
That boy on the moon.
I'm not one to judge a person by their physical appearance, but this guy was practically covered head to toe in tattoos. The guy looked extremely intimidating. Definitely not someone you'd want to mess with. He had this look of frustration, or almost anger on his face. He was staring at me dead in the eyes. I lifted up the bag of food, and he grabbed it. The guy then started reaching in his pocket. I figured he was going to give me a tip, but no. Before I knew it, the guy was holding a hunting knife and pointing it in my direction. My stomach dropped, realizing the situation I was now in.
Bro. Bro. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Here, bro, I'm using this as an example, bro. If somebody threatening me with a knife like this, bro, I'm a left, right.
Either gonna get robbed for everything I had,
up right there,
or worst case scenario, killed. My mind was now racing. Thinking as fast as I could, I turned around towards my car, screamed at Derek to grab the gun, and put my hand in my pocket to start my car's engine from a button on the key. But there was no Derek, and I was in no way armed. But I figured if I could somehow convince this guy I was, I gave myself a chance to get out of this. All I could do was pray that the threat along with the vehicle starting would be enough to convince this guy I didn't come here alone. And luckily it was. The guy shoved me back and slammed the front door. I ran back to my car and practically tore the door off trying to get in.
That was smart, though.
I got out of there as fast as I could.
That was smart.
I would of course end up calling the police, but I never heard anything back about whatever ended up happening. I assumed they didn't find anything, and that the guy was long gone by the time they arrived on scene. But I can't confirm this. If there's one...
Like, even if you call the cops, bro, if you don't got no proof that he did anything to you, bro, it's over with, bro. It don't even matter. You might as well not call them. Because they'll pull up, be like, all right, we heard you did this. Did you do it? No, I ain't do it. All right.
Thing I'm sure of, it's how fortunate I am to own a car with a remote proximity key, as I don't think the guy would have bought the whole act if I didn't start the engine. I still drive for Uber Eats every once in a while.
All right, they'll probably hit you with a, let me look around. But you got to hit them with the, hey, you got a warrant. You got a warrant, and they'll feel defeated right then and there, bro.
But I've since started carrying a knife on me at all times.
The pandemic has been pretty hard on all of us, and we've all felt its effects in a variety of ways, but musicians have felt it more than most. I don't mean to throw myself a pity party or anything. I know there are older folks who are actually fearing for their lives, so I've counted my blessings plenty of times. But for most of my friends, the pandemic just meant working from home or taking a long paid vacation. For me, it meant work dried up entirely. As a professional musician, I've been playing music both solo and with bands for most of my adult life now. It's fun, but it can be really tough on occasion, and this pandemic has been the toughest time I'd ever experienced. I had to do something, anything to pay the bills, so when the drummer in my band said that he was making some pretty decent money for working for Postmates, it immediately sparked my interest. I think the real selling point was how it had benefited his health. Us musicians tend to be much more familiar with a bottle and a glass than an elliptical machine, so riding a bike and getting paid to do it seemed like a great way to get back into a fitness regimen.
Hey, look.
So, dust off my young brother's old mountain
Healthy
bike,
body,
oil
healthy
up
mind.
the gears, get myself a Postmates driver's account, and I'm pretty much ready to go. I mean, it's kind of messed up that there were no background checks or anything. Like, I
Same
literally
way
could
around
have been
too.
anyone,
Healthy
but
mind, healthy body.
hey, I wasn't complaining at the time. I needed the money, I needed it bad, and there were much worse things than delivering acai bowls that I could be doing. But being a delivery driver brought a whole host of new occupational hazards, and there was one particular incident in the summer of last year that I've thought about almost every single day since it happened. So, I get this one job delivering Thai food over to a place in Brentwood, just this little single-story house that barely stood out from the rest. Postmates has us doing the whole contactless delivery thing by that point, but I always used to hang around just to make sure whoever it was got their food. Sometimes you had some pretty elderly people ordering from us, since some didn't have any other means of getting food without exposing themselves. It meant a lot to me to know that I was helping like that, even if it was in such a small way. Anyway,
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I've never ordered Postmates, but if I order Postmates, bro, and I walk outside my crib to get my McDonald's, bro, that's probably what I ordered. You know, I'm not gonna fake it, bro. The double quarter pounder with bacon and cheese, bro. I'm gonna get that, bro. I'm gonna tell them to take the ketchup off and the mustard and put barbecue on it, bro. I don't care if you judge me, bro. That's on you. Anyways, bro, like I was saying, bro, if I order the Postmates, bro, I expect the delivery person to be gone. If I come outside and you staring at me, waiting for me to grab my food, that's why you didn't get a tip. The hell?
the dude comes out to get his food, and he's not nearly as old or infirm as I first expected, but he
Like,
does
what are
look
you doing
tired.
here?
And not just
You wanna
like
fry?
my neighbor's dog was barking last night kind of
You're not
tired.
getting a bite out the
He
burger
looked like
because
he was over his own
You're not.
life. Just a deep exhaustion set into his eyes. He thanked me through his mask and told me Postmates had been a godsend since his wife left. I could relate hard to that. My long-term girlfriend had left at the start of the pandemic too. She just couldn't handle the stress. Couldn't be so far away from her parents during such a difficult time.
she couldn't handle the stress. Now, I'm not doubting what he's saying, though. But she went to go be with her parents during the pandemic. So she ain't give. I'm not gonna speak on
So,
it. Let's go
I knew what he was talking about.
I ain't gonna speak on it.
Like I said, he seemed sick and tired, but he didn't hint at actually being depressed or mad or anything like that. He just seemed to be doing that macho guy thing of internalizing all of his feelings, and again, hard relate. Like I said, I often stuck around to make sure people got their food, and I'd also make a point of thanking people if they tipped big, and boy, did tired guy tip big. Right as I'm about to ride off on my bike, I make a point of telling the guy how grateful I am that he was so generous with his tip. It's literally people like him that mean I don't have to pawn my guitars to pay the rent. He just kind of nods, then says, "Just don't make the same mistakes I did, kid." I wasn't a kid. I was...
Bro, that shit then they just gave him hella order, bro. Don't make the same mistakes I did, kid. Like, what's your backstory now, bro? You got. I'm gonna sit down, bro, on this sidewalk, bro. You gonna explain your life to me, bro?
28, but
Crazy
The weight of
Laura.
experience in the guy's voice, I just took it on the chin. The very next day, I get another delivery up that way, so I decide to cycle past the guy's house. I'm not 100% sure why, I guess I'm a creature of habit or something. But as I roll up, I can already see that something is horribly wrong. There's a cop car sitting in the guy's driveway, and his gate is blocked off with blue and white police tape. There's one cop sat in the driver's seat of the cruiser, and he gets out to ask me why I'm gawping at a crime
That's
scene.
what I expected him to look
I
like.
ask him what happened, and he tells me to move along before turning his back on me. But then on the fly, I say "But, officer, that's my uncle's place." And I drop the same name he'd used for his Postmates delivery. As soon as I say that, the cop stops dead in his tracks and turns around and sighs. That's when I know it wasn't just some home invasion or a car theft or something. That's when I knew it was darker than I could have imagined. The cop says something like, "Look, I'm sorry, but you're better hearing this from the next of kin. Besides, homicide doesn't have a full picture of what happened yet." "Is he okay? Is my uncle okay?" I ask. He was taken to the hospital, but after that, I'm not sure. I'm so sorry, sir. I had to do my own research to find out what exactly actually happened, and to me, it was way worse than home invasion or something.
That's the fat ass keyboard.
The older guy, the one who'd been so generous with his money and his advice, had a full-on mental breakdown the very same day that I brought him his food. From what I could gather, he'd been ranting and raving in his driveway, and then when the cops showed up, he waved a gun in their faces. And that's all she wrote. They shot him dead right there in his driveway.
Oh, well, I don't know.
I don't know if he was trying to end his own life by cop, or he actually had some kind of mental breakdown. But if it all happened that same night I dropped his food off, then I basically fed this guy his last meal. The final thing that ever passed his lips. A couple of hours later, he was dead. I don't know why, but that messed with me something awful over the weeks that followed. I kept thinking that maybe if I'd stuck around, maybe if I asked him more about his problems or his life in general, maybe it had given him the strength to carry on, at least for a little while.
He already knew what
maybe
he
it was always going to happen.
He told you, bro, don't make
Maybe
the
he
same
planned
mistakes
it or
I
something.
did, bro. He knew what,
Nothing I could have said would have made a difference. For the longest time, those were the kinds of thoughts that I just couldn't seem to shake. Like the guy was a ghost that just haunted me, no matter where I went, or what I did.
Okay.
On the night...
Hey, look, and we're going to end it right there, man. We're going to end it right there. We're going to come back. We're going to finish this video up later. But I appreciate y'all for sticking around, watching this with me, bro. Hey, look. I appreciate it. What am I going to leave y'all with today, man? What am I going to leave y'all with? Now, I'm going to leave you with this right here, bro. I'm going to leave you with this, bro. Call your family, man. Life too short for you not to be calling your family borderline every day, bro. You don't gotta call everybody in your family, but at least call one person a day. Like, call your cousin right now, bro. Call your cousin. Tomorrow, call your other cousin. Call your mama today. Call your pops tomorrow. Call your pops today. Call your grandpa or your grandma, if you're lucky to still have them. You feel what I'm saying? Life is too short for you not to be talking to your family all the time, bro. So just make sure you make time for them, bro, because they will make time for you. But peace, bro.